The federal government is issuing a dire public health warning about a powerful new strain of spice, or K2, that's causing mass overdoses across the Northeast.
And now drug experts say Boston could be next. Boston 25 News reporter Catherine Bertram spoke to investigators about this dangerous drug and how it's potentially funding terrorism overseas.
The first cases began right over on that park bench.
From inside New Haven's Emergency Operations HQ, Director Rick Fontana says a surreal scene began playing out on the city green.
It was very chaotic. People dropping right as we were treating other folks. Fire and EMS were, racing around the green like something I had really never experienced before.
Investigators say it was a wave of overdoses of a synthetic cannabinoid or spice. They initially thought it might be laced with fentanyl, but when patients didn't respond to Narcan, they discovered it was a spice strain called Foob 144, laced with rat poison and incredibly potent, causing people to vomit and then pass out.
We've had 20, and then, 15 minutes later it's 26, and then another 15 minutes later it's 30. The numbers were moving that quick.
This summer, federal drug agents have been tracking the spread of spice, also known as K2, across the United States. In late May and early June, nearly 300 people overdosed in Brooklyn. In July, in D.C., 170 people OD'd, 3 of them died. And in August, 114 people overdosed in a 3-day period on the New Haven Green.
Connecticut, is next, and Boston is probably on the radar.
Drug experts are sounding the K2 alarm as well.
They're putting rat poison in this particular compound, and the rat poison is causing people to bleed from their eyes and their ears. So it's really an overwhelming problem that we have to get a handle on.
Former DEA agent Derek Maltz was head of the agency's Special Operations Division for more than a decade. He was part of a task force that first began tracking the widespread distribution of spice in the Southeast in 2014.
Because what we learned was really disturbing.
DEA agents investigating the sale of spice in convenience stores in Alabama began tracing the proceeds overseas.
Where we saw monies flowing from the business accounts of these bodegas, convenience stores, right back to Yemen in the millions and millions of dollars.
During a raid in 2015, agents arrested Munir Zindani, part of the Southeast Distribution Network. When investigators culled Zindani's Facebook page and cell phones, they found direct links to radical terrorism.
Their father actually advised or indicated that he was related to a guy named Sheikh Zindani. Sheikh Zindani is a documented global terrorist.
Massachusetts and other states have banned the sale of spice in stores, but Maltz says the market has simply moved to the streets with dire consequences.
So to me, yes, this is actually chemical warfare against America.
And users don't seem to know the financial links to the Middle East.
One of our informants was pretty much told by the Middle Eastern supplier they don't need, like some other chemicals, to kill because they have spice.
That's no surprise to first responders who have seen this crisis up close and say the mass overdoses are stripping emergency resources from the people who need them.
It's troubling that we have to even think that this could be tied to a bigger picture that would want to cause a greater harm to our country.
The CDC has been working with state health departments on a public education campaign about these very strong new strains of spice. The FDA is also warning about an increase in tainted blood supplies from donors who have used K2. Catherine Bertram, Boston 25.